Snake. I'm not gonna do that. Welcome to You'll Probably Agree. Today we have Rob Kojder on, another Chicago film critic from the Flickering Myth. We decided to cover all the Metal Gear games, and we did Metal Gear Solid 1 last month, and this month we are doing Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, a game that I think not only was ahead of its time, but it liked to troll the audience without actually trolling them. It actually had intention behind it. There's a lot to go over with this game because it is not just a video game, but something that has been studied by a lot of scholars and has been analyzed and picked apart by not only scholars, but as we probably know, a lot of YouTubers. And there's a lot to jump into with this one. But Rob, what was your introduction to Metal Gear Solid 2?
Before I answer that, I was going to say instead of saying snake, you should have just opened the show during the Colonel's gibberish. Well, yeah, that's. But my first introduction to Metal Gear Solid 2, I was in like eighth grade, and people were playing the demo, like the tanker demo.
Yeah,
Remember
that
that?
was on
Yeah.
Zone of Enders. Yeah.
Yes. So that was my first like exposure to it, and I had never finished the first Metal Gear Solid at the time, which I think I mentioned that last time. I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the tanker mission was awesome, and then I bought the full game when it came out, and it was the first Metal Gear Solid game I actually played to completion. So
Wow.
that put me in a unique position where I wasn't as bothered as much as most people about the shifter riding. Like,
Yeah. Now, the thing with Metal Gear Solid 2, I remember that was like the first game where I would be like counting down the days, just like a movie, like until the game came out. Because I remember when I played Metal Gear Solid 1, like my first experience with it was sort of like a religious one because I rented the wrong game, but it had a trailer to Metal Gear Solid and it had the best is yet to come play with like all this footage and they were playing the story. And I've never seen a video game that was like a movie and also had like beautiful touching music cut to it. So I played the game. I rented the game. No, I didn't rent it. I went straight to Best Buy and bought it. And then I played it to completion, like I think within 2 days, because it's a very short game. And I couldn't wait until Metal Gear Solid 2 was about to come out. They were teasing it. And I remember Metal Gear Solid 2 was like the thing that sold the PlayStation 2. Well, it is not the thing that sold the PlayStation 2. That is a dumb statement. It was the DVD drive and the fact that the PlayStation 1 basically changed the whole game. And look at where you are now, Sony. You
yeah.
bastards.
I was gonna say
And
you
yeah.
bought them back when you could own a game actually, and you got a
Yeah.
disc in the box.
Yes, because that was an experience because I would like to talk about the death of physical media because it's just all over the tabloids and it is important. Uh, that was so distinct when I rented VR missions. I got the wrong game, but the fact that I went to a Best Buy, I got the game, and then I was like, oh, I want to get this other game. There was an excitement towards driving to the store, getting out of your car, walking up to the aisle, holding the actual disc in your hand, and going, okay, I own this forever. I still own the disc to that game. And you can't say that with your physical media. Your downloads could disappear. Granted, I have PS3 downloads of games that are still there. In terms of movies and TV shows, who knows
Yep,
now?
they already
Yeah,
took away 500 movies.
yeah, exactly. I think I still have. Is it, like I didn't have anything that special on there, anyways. I did have The Road, but now that's on Prime. But and I had Hulk, but I think I had the DVD to it. But I don't know where it is. But yeah, there was
What's it?
something
The
very.
Ang Lee Hulk, the Ang Lee
Yeah,
one.
the one I
Mhm.
actually like. Yeah. I like that one. I don't like the Edward Norton one and I like Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, but I don't think we got a good Mark Ruffalo Hulk movie because we
Yeah,
never got one and I think the studio knows after two strikes not to swing again. So that's where Hulk's going to stand. But yeah, it was very special getting that disc, and I remember looking at the back of you needed the back of the CD case to know what Meryl's frequency was in Metal Gear Solid 1. And I remember when I played the game, like there was an item that said CD case. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. And then when I actually looked at the back of my case, like there's a picture of Snake and he says Meryl on there, and there's her number, which
140.15, I think.
Okay, yeah, you're right. 140.15. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. But that was special, and to play, like you said, Metal Gear Solid during your time, you were introduced to it through the Zone of Enders game, which was a Kojima game that did get like a remaster on PS3, but I would like to see it get introduced to this generation.
I did play a little bit of the first one before that, but I never finished it. I was like too young to get far.
Right. Yeah, but on Zone of Enders, you had to actually buy that game. You had to pay $60 for that game. And it would have, and everyone bought that game not to play Zone of Enders, but to play the tanker demo, because when they released, because I remember vividly what sold the PS2 outside the DVD player, outside the fact that the PS1 basically changed the entire industry, was the fact that they showed the trailer to like the beginning tanker stuff in Metal Gear Solid 2, and people were like, those aren't the real graphics. Those aren't, that's not real. Because when you saw that rain coming down and Snake crawling through it, it looked like, a pre-rendered movie. And then the demo came out and everyone was like, oh my God, that really is the game. And before that, it's like, if my PS2 can run those graphics, I have to get a PS2. And that was one of the selling points. That was like one of those pieces of software that made people excited, anxious to get a PS2, and PS2 ended up becoming the greatest selling game console of all time, and maybe
it might be my favorite console of all time too. It's got the best game.
Yeah, because that was
had like great games across every genre too.
Video games back then felt a lot more. Yeah, a lot more special and different and unique because they were still learning, because when you had the switch from 2D to the PlayStation 1 to the N64, and then you go to the PS2, video games were beginning to experiment with 3D design and gameplay. So like every
different
game,
controller layouts too.
Yeah, every game felt a little different. Metal Gear Solid 2 felt completely different than Zone of Enders. Grand Theft Auto felt different than anything else because we never seen. I mean, the only open world game I could think of that I really played before that was Shenmue, and Grand Theft Auto just I would love to see a modded Shenmue where you could be Rio and plow through people in Japan and but yeah, that was like our first introduction to the open world game, and Metal Gear Solid 1 was our introduction to the cinematic game, which is now like every game. As much as I like the new James Bond game, I feel like the first 2 hours, it's like, what do? I walked from the elevator to Q's office. Oh, now I get to play the game after this. Oh, now another cutscene. There's a lot of slow walking, squeezing through tight corridors that they're doing. And it's a very same kind of feeling. And back then they weren't the same. And Metal Gear Solid 2 did what Metal Gear Solid 1 did, where yes, it was very cinematic and it also had great gameplay, but it also did an incredible job at toying with your head. And that's where it really stood the test of time.
Yeah, I think the story definitely, like, Kojima elevated his game there, especially with like predicting the future, like we were talking about at the beginning. Like you said, it's very prophetic. Like there's a point in the middle where like they're talking about how the government will try to control the flow of information through online at one point. Like that's what we have now.
Yeah. I mean, because now we can't get physical games. We have to actually go online to buy them. Yeah. But also our privacy is pretty much gone. When we were constantly worried about being monitored and all that, like how do you open up your phone? It scans your face. And now with Face ID, they can take that ID and the government can do whatever they want to it. And I used to never believe in the Illuminati. I used to never believe in a lot of crazy stuff like that. But now I'm living within the last 10 years that I've lived. I'm starting to believe it. Like the Patriots, I'm not saying that could have existed back then, but
are you saying
it's
Trump was
almost
one
like
of the Patriots?
he's one of their stooges.
Yeah.
Trump is just someone pretending to be president. He's just someone the Patriots are using to get the public outraged while they, orchestrate everything else from within. But everything is so interconnected in that game. Like, remember when, I feel like in a few years we're going to be like, remember when nano machines was a thing? But it's like maybe one day our bloodstream could be connected to a network. You don't know, but
maybe.
yeah. But yeah, this game was prophetic. Because you play the first few 2 hours of the game, you think you're going to be Solid Snake, and then everything goes to shit. Metal Gear gets away, Snake gets knocked on his ass, he's drowning, the tanker sinks away, Snake's dead. You cut to the next, we think he's dead. We know he's not really. You cut to the next scene, and they're talking to this new guy. His name is Raiden, and they're telling you that the terrorist leader at this location where this big boat that was holding Metal Gear sank and polluted the entire ocean.
It's like now, intentionally a very similar setup to the first game.
Which I guess I can throw up the spoilers because although this is an old game, this is one that I don't think everyone's played. And I think whether you're into video games or not, I would say you don't have to play the game, but get to the main story bits. Watch the codec conversation between the Patriots AI and Raiden at the end, and you'll be kind of fascinated to see what it has to say. But yeah, you didn't mind when it switched to Raiden. I didn't either because I kind of like the fact that because what I liked about Metal Gear Solid 1 is that it constantly subverted expectations, but it never felt like it was pulling some Last Jedi maneuvers.
And this game, he's like a dumbass constantly. And they're kind of laughing at how everyone is one step ahead of him. Everyone
Raiden?
knows everything, but everyone knows everything, but Raiden doesn't know anything. He's always one step behind everyone.
And Snake was too in the first one because everyone manipulates him and uses him, and it's kind of like a plot device they use in all the Metal Gear games, because in every Metal Gear game, you think of Metal Gear Solid 1, Snake was basically on this mission that he finds out that he's a clone, and then he finds out that Naomi poisoned him and she was going to kill him, and he only came out of this mission so she could kill him. And then you find out that the government was hiding secrets and they were sending you to take care of the Metal Gear thing as part of a cover-up. And then they echo that with this, where the Patriots created this whole scenario to see how they could control society, because it was the S3 plan, which was the selection for societal sanity. Yeah,
something like that. And I also think it was wasn't it a mission to see if anyone could be Solid Snake?
Yeah, because what Kojima was playing with was the fact that he never really wanted Solid Snake to be popular. He always wanted Snake to be a reflection of the player, which I think is kind of flawed when he wrote such an interesting character in the first place.
It's also flawed for me because I snap everyone's neck and I kill everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's how I would sneak around in the first game. I punch him once and then hit square a bunch of times because I know they'll wake up, so they have to die. So then, nobody else could find him. But
did you put them in the lockers too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, the best is when you look in the locker and you call Otacon, and Snake has this horny look on his face.
Yeah.
And Otacon's like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, there's a lot of great fourth wall breaking stuff in that. But yeah, Kojima never liked the idea of the player uh personifying the character that they were playing. He wanted them the character to be a reflection of themselves, kind of like a blank avatar, which I think he made that point a lot clearer in Phantom Pain, although Phantom Pain has very big flaws. And I
Yes.
think if they developed the story more than they did before, Konami
Or
pulled the
if
plug on the
Konami, yeah,
project.
they just like
Yeah.
hijacked the game from them halfway through.
Yeah, then I think we would have gotten something better, but it did a better job of sort of representing what Kojima wanted to say, which is like you're the player. And with Raiden, it felt like an intentional choice where it's like, okay, you're the exact opposite of Snake. You're not this strong guy with a gruff voice. You're this pretty boy with blonde hair, with a nasally voice, and you always
A dweeb
complain
that
about
no
doing
one
your
actually
job.
wants to play as.
Yeah, yeah. And then when the game switches
That's
gears,
that's
I'm
what I
sorry.
love about it. Like people were mad that they didn't get to play as Snake, but that was also part of the point in a way, like we're saying.
Yeah,
Like it is to show that anyone can be Snake within this controlled environment or whatever.
yeah, that was because the S3 plan originally it was a Solid Snake simulation, which you thought was an orchestrated recreation of Shadow Moses Island during the Big Shell incident. And if you guys have no idea what we're talking about, well, guys, it's a long rabbit hole and it's a lot to explain. So I don't even know where to begin with that. But I guess,
I
long
will
story
say
short,
I
yeah.
like exploring the big shell like more than the areas in the first game. I don't know, I
Hmm.
always thought that was a fun like area to go because there's like 6 different areas like all connected to each other. Like
Hmm.
you could easily go between all the rooms. So like even if you're backtracking, it's less annoying, kind of.
Yeah, I kind of liked both settings. I liked Shadow
Mhm.
Moses for like its dark, like grungy,
That's true.
dirty
Yeah,
setting, and I liked Big Shell because it was like the total opposite, where it's
and
like
there's a
very
lot more
clean
daytime.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and it's in broad daylight, and but there's a lot more to do with the game's mechanics because they evolved the gameplay. And this is why it was the best generation of gaming, because Metal Gear Solid started the 3D mechanics, and then 2 improved on it, and then I think 3 perfected it almost. But 2 did a great job of improving it because they introduced the whole ability to go in a first person view mode and use the tranquilizer gun to take down enemies. And you could actually use that also as a method to not kill any
and
enemies,
if you
although they
shoot them
die
in
in the
the head,
next
they
scene.
fall asleep right away.
Yeah, shoot
Or
in
if you
the
shoot them in
or
the
the
leg, it
groin.
take yeah,
Yeah,
or if yeah, and if you shoot them in the leg, it takes like a couple seconds.
yeah, yeah. They did all that. You could hang from ledges.
You can
Gosh,
also do like pull-ups and stuff to like increase like your strength. Remember
yeah,
doing that?
yeah. Yeah, like Steak had an entire arsenal, pun intended, with secrets and little things you could discover while controlling them. Because that was the big difference with these Metal Gear games, to like maybe a David Cage game where everyone's like, "Oh, Metal Gear, it's just one big cutscene." Like, no, Heavy Rain's one big cutscene with minimal
Right.
interaction. Where Metal
It's a
Gear,
giant quick time event.
yeah, where Metal Gear, it has like deep mechanics to it, and they simplify it for the campaign. But if you go into the VR missions, like in the substance version,
The
uh,
substance,
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah,
movie.
exactly. No, that Metal Gear meets the substance. Don't give
Yeah.
Kojima ideas. So, but you would see how deep those mechanics could go. And I think Kojima was very, very good at designing games. Like each game he made, he didn't want to be stuck with Metal Gear, but he did get stuck with it. But he did a great job at making each one very different. And Metal Gear Solid 2 was different, because it was very prophetic. It screwed with our minds, and also because it was another inch towards perfecting the stealth gameplay genre that he didn't give birth to it, but he popularized it.
I like the little quirks to the gameplay. Like if you hold square lightly, you can just knock someone out, or if you like
Mm-hmm.
jam it down, then you can break their neck. Or even with like the coolant spray, like it's like a pressure sensitive button to like
Mm-hmm.
use the spray. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the pressure sensitivity. You can't disarm your gun with the new
right.
versions like you can with the old versions because they had the pressure sensitivity in the PS2 controller that they never really implemented in the future controllers.
And even other things like you can press X once to crouch, you hold it down to go all the way prone, and you see that in like every shooter game nowadays. Like even
Yeah,
Call of Duty, yeah.
yeah, like all of those and it's really smooth. The game still looks great.
Hmm.
Like Metal Gear Solid 3 looks great too, although I think it looks a little more fuzzy compared to 2. And 2 is a lot more like pristine. It doesn't look like other PS2 games, which has that muddy kind of texture to it. Like this one had like a much more like a pre HD look. Even like this thumbnail we have now of Naked Raiden. Like look how like clean those like floors are and in that wall. It's like it still looks great because it has great lighting to it. Like Kojima really knows his mise en scène. So,
They have great janitors over there in Arsenal Gear.
yeah. Well, one of the areas and it is the colon when you go into Arsenal.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Um, at what moment? Because you're a big Metal Gear fan now.
Hmm.
Was this the game that made you like a big Metal Gear fan?
For sure, it's the one I finished all the way through, and like we're talking about, I was blown away by the story, even if I didn't understand all of it at the time. Because like we were living in an age where like the internet was still kind of new. Like I don't think all of us really understood what the game was prophesizing. But nowadays feels like for the past 10 years feels like every year something about this game comes true and it's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to the Patriots AI, it's like the Patriot Act, which, started very long time ago. I feel old saying that now. And it now has been evolved into what it is today, which is our total lack of freedom. I mean, this is what Orwell was, predicting with Big
Like I
Brother
said, we can't
watching.
even own a disc anymore. We got no
Yeah.
freedom. Our
Yeah.
games can be taken away at any time now.
Well, the best way to combat that is to not give money to
Right.
companies that, like don't buy PlayStations,
I already
don't buy
tweeted this
GTA
Sony
6.
earlier, like, well, I'm not buying any of your stuff anymore if you don't bring this back.
Yeah. Like honestly, I could go without GTA 6. Like
Right.
I could play it like at a friend's house, run over some people, blow some shit up and be like, "Okay." And then I'll just go back to GTA 5 and find more ways to screw with people.
Yeah.
But you had so much selection back then. And here's the thing, I think video games have now reached a certain limit where they can't do go further. And maybe that's a good thing because I don't know if you've ever seen the footage from unrecorded, but you cannot tell that it's a game. You think it's GoPro footage, but it's or a body cam, I should say. And it's not, it's a game. It's like I don't want to play something where I can't tell that it's not reality. And
Right.
Metal Gear Solid 2 was like one of the first games to make you question reality because you get to that second. I love the third act of this game because this game has a huge setup and it gets very, very boring sometimes. But man, that third act payoff is insane.
You mean you didn't like carrying Emma through all the water?
Ugh.
We have to keep
Yeah,
going
I was
underwater.
so relieved when she got stabbed.
Yeah.
That's when the story started to get going.
Did you say
But
thank you, Vamp, when it happened?
I should have. Um, no, so that was the thing with that game is that when you got to that third act and the gears shifts, it kind of makes you question if you're going crazy
Well, yeah, with the
because
Colonel, he loses, like, he's like
yeah,
an AI and starts going crazy. Like, you
yeah,
don't know what he's talking about or what he's saying. It's just the
mhm.
most random stuff. Like, I have no idea how anyone even writes stuff that random. Like,
Kojima.
yeah,
And like, have you played Death Stranding too? Oh my
I have
god,
to
this game's
finish that. Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah. I can't get there's so much I want to give away that I can't. So whatever. One day it might slip out. But yeah, what he would do is you would have the great thing about the third act is that things go from horrible to worse to worse to worse. And it kind of has this hopeful ending, but the hopefulness in the ending didn't work for me. But because what happens is you wake up just like Snake did when he was in the torture room in Metal Gear Solid 1, except this time you have absolutely no clothing on whatsoever. And
surviving it is also a lot easier this time too.
oh yeah, surviving, you said?
Yeah, like tapping the button. You don't have
Oh
to do it
yeah.
as fast in this game.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you have to hit triangle. Yeah. You find out that you are not just some dweeb. There's a reason Raiden sounds like a dweeb, because he's trying to run away from like this evil killer part of himself. Although he joins the government to stop a nuclear weapon, but whatever.
He was a child soldier too.
That's right. He was a child soldier. You find out that Solidus Snake was your non-biological father who raised you and killed your family. And oh wait, you find that out in the end, whatever. But you basically find out that basically you're a child soldier. No one can ever understand you, and then it makes you question the ethics of murdering NPCs in video games when you think about it. And then you finally get out of the torture chamber. You're running around covering up your genitals, and then you start getting these crazy phone calls from your CO and your girlfriend, who somehow they hired as part of that operation. And he starts just saying the most crazy random shit ever. And then you find out that the entire world is being run by an evil AI, and that we have absolutely no free will. And then in the very end, Snake's like, "Oh, but make your own choice. Bye." But when you get to that third act, they're even telling you directly, turn the video game off. Don't you have anything better to do with your time? And
did you turn it off when they said that?
No, fuck them. I choose. I make my own choices.
It is Kojima, though. For all you know, you're supposed to do it there. You never know.
Maybe he'd have the PlayStation set on fire.
Right. Yeah.
But
maybe he'll kick down your door and shut it off for you.
It was a clone of Kojima. He's one of the genome soldiers. But yeah, you get to this part of the game. You have no idea what the hell is going on. But that was the whole beauty and appeal to it, is that for, I would say, 50% of that game, you're just playing exposition. You know, okay, you got to go and unlock this door so you can talk to this guy who has a pacemaker. Okay, you talk to that guy. Now go talk to this other guy. Okay, now you reach the president. And once you reach the president...
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to rescue the president at one point. It's like a hostage. Do you remember using that directional mic? Like, locate his heartbeat? That was a cool gameplay thing, too. You don't really see creativity like that in games anymore. You have to locate someone by, like, listening to their heartbeat. Like, that was cool.
Yeah, and you can listen into conversations like when Solidus and Olga and someone else is talking about how they're gonna, do their evil plan. You can pan the microphone over and you can hear Johnny from the first game just having a diarrhea attack. Yeah. And it's the guy from the first game, because he's like, "Oh man, Shadow Moses was tough. Who was that girl who knocked me out? She was cute. Oh, there's my stomach again." Yeah, but that's the brilliance with this game, is that it goes from just stupid, absurd comedy to like the darkest shit you can imagine. And it does so like seamlessly because of the medium of the video game, because of the fact that the controller is in your hand and you can do whatever you want.
Do you remember shimmying across a rail at one point? There's like a guard taking a piss over the rail.
Yeah, and he can piss right on your face if you look up.
Yeah.
Then you call your girlfriend, and she's just like, "You're taking a shower when you get home."
Or you can slip on the bird shit, like that one bridge. Yeah.
If you look up while the birds are flying, they can shit right on your face. And it gets on that. Yeah, it gets right on the camera. It goes like blip, and then you get like little pigeon poop on the camera. But yeah, it's all those little mechanics that really make the game brilliant. It's all these little Easter eggs, attention to detail.
Naked cartwheels.
Yeah, naked cartwheels. I know I at one point when they were having the interrogation scene and they were talking to Raiden, I kept rewinding the scene. Well, not rewinding it, but replaying the scene because like Solidus's head moved for a second and I thought I saw his balls.
Yeah, there's
But
like a straw blocking it, isn't there? Like
oh
a cup
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you get, I think I said this before we were on the air, there is a DVD I got once. Maybe I could find it again, but you can only play it on a PS2 because it's a playable disc. And it's like this like dictionary of like how they made the game. And you can see all the character models on it. And Raiden's naked model, he doesn't have any, there's nothing there. So, I guess he's well, I'll let him label whatever he is or they. But yeah, you would get to this. You play this game. You question like what's going on around you, not just in the game but in real life, because you're like, well, if there is no real government and I have no free will, and every decision that we make is predetermined, and all of the knowledge that we have is just passed on from other people, and we're not really forming our own opinion, but rather just copying what other people say, then what really is there in society that makes life worth living? And Snake tries to explain that to Raiden in the game. And Raiden, I mean, the game's not trying to make you suicidal. I should probably say that because it probably unintentionally sounded that way. But what I'm trying to get at is that the game kind of makes you question our own codes and knowledge and ethics and history, and it makes you question everything. And that's something that a lot of movies don't do. I mean, some do, but this is something a video game did, and I haven't witnessed that from other games, and that's why I consider Metal Gear Solid 2 to be my favorite one in the series.
The first one?
The second one. It used to be the first one, now it's the second one.
Yeah, I think the second one is also up there for me. I also like the fourth one a lot too. Just because I thought it was like the perfect ending to everything.
Well, yeah, that was the bookend. I have some issues with it, but whatever. So why do you think, Kojima, every time he made a Metal Gear game, he basically always said, all right, well, this is the last one. I'm quitting. But yet with each Metal Gear game, there was something different to it. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 are like very distinctly different games, where 4 is like a perfection of the mechanics from 3. Why do you think Kojima always said he wasn't going to make another one, but then he would do such an incredible job making the next one?
So that kind of reminds me. Do you remember that when Daniel Craig, like someone asked if he would do another Bond? He's like, I'd rather slit my wrists than do another one. And he did another one anyway.
Oh, really? When did he say that? That must have been after
like
Quantum. Must have been after Quantum.
It was after Quantum.
Yeah, that movie was a disaster.
So what it makes me think of is like after you finish.
Uh-oh.
It's like a large game. Can you still hear me?
You said after you fit and then you cut off and froze.
Yeah, I was talking about like Daniel Craig, and he said like, yeah, I'd rather slit my wrist and do another one of these again.
Yeah.
So for Kojima, I think it's like after you finish a large game like this, like you're so burned out, you can't see yourself making another one. But eventually, over time, like you come up with a story, you gather inspiration from the world around you, and you start to feel like, okay, now I got some new gameplay mechanic ideas. I think slowly over time, just another one comes together. That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah,
and money helps too.
Yeah, yes, I think it was a little bit of two things. He would find a story that he would be attracted to, And then Konami would say to him, well, if you don't make Metal Gear, we won't let you do this. And they kept like waving like the potential for his own original IP in front of him, like someone waving a piece of meat in front of a dog. You're never gonna give it to the dog. You'll give him a little piece, but you know that's essentially what they were doing to him. But why do you think this game?
Well, they did do that to him too. Remember when he was making like that Silent Hill game with Guillermo del Toro, and like
Silent
it
Hills.
Yeah, it just never got made. But that demo of PT was awesome. That was a terrifying demo.
I can't finish it. It scares me too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't even think you
can
can download
anything.
it anymore either. I think they took it off the place. See, they stole it from you.
I know.
Even got it.
Dude, it's like you know what they got to do a meme of GTA 6 where I'm sure someone already did it. Like, what's that movie where Tobey Maguire's like, they stole it, Carmine. That was today. Like, they got to do that one.
Yeah, but, GTA 6 is setting like the worst possible trend ever for physical media.
Well, the weirdest thing about GTA 6 is like everyone kept making jokes about we got this before GTA 6. We got that before GTA 6. And I kind of felt like, yeah, GTA 6, as it was joked a lot, would come during a very pivotal moment in society. And it turns out that GTA 6 itself created that moment by killing physical discs.
And I think people were concerned, like, oh, the game is going to cost more than $100. Turns out the real concern is something we never anticipated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's like I think if a lot of people withdrew their pre-sales and didn't buy the game out of the only thing is I think 80% of games are digital downloads. And that includes me because I'll be honest, like I don't want to drive and deal with traffic and pick the game up and go. Like I could just download it from home and then go to work, then come back and play the game. But there was something really nice, like when you had Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and all the PS2 games where you pop the disc in, you play it, and guess what? It wasn't like the PS3 where you have to wait for the game to install.
Yeah, you didn't have to install anything either.
Yeah, it would just play the damn thing. And now we're losing that. Everything is becoming digital code. And now digital information is controlling the way we think, the way we behave, the things that we like when we go on Facebook. If you watch one video of a cat, well, then they're going to keep showing you more videos of cats. If you stop and click on a KFC video, well, they'll give you KFC videos. But then if someone says something politically that you agree with, they'll send you more of that. And now everyone, they're kind of being told what to think, who to be mad at, and they're not able to make decisions.
Will feed you whatever you click on.
Yes,
they'll just they'll try to keep you addicted to whatever you're interested in.
Yes, and you feel like you're a robot more than a person, and you don't have any choices because everything is screens. Like from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, unless like some of us exercise, it's just screens 24/7. And now I really like I was joking about it, but I'm partially serious. Like we could one day have something happen where you go to the hospital, you got a shot one day, you thought nothing of it. And it turns out that they took your blood and they mixed it with some sort of digital code. I mean, look at ancestry.com. You give your saliva and then they find out that, oh my God, I was related to John F. Kennedy. Like you would never, this is all part of what it's doing now. Oh, we have a comment here. Fox die.
That's a good comment. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, hey, in Metal Gear Solid 4, we get Fox alive, which that's one thing I like about Kojima, man. Like he's so corny, but
that's great. That's like classic Kojima right there. Fox alive.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Michelle like last week was bringing up how like Kojima's kind of a gooner, and he didn't have as many gooner moments in this game. Like there weren't a lot of boob
Yeah,
shots or ass shots.
there's a lot of like models across the locker rooms,
Oh yeah,
like
the
those
models. What
posters.
am I talking
Yeah,
about? Yeah, I brought that up earlier. You call Otacon stays like, yeah, but yeah, he would have stuff like that. But he's at least he's not like
there's
at
that
least
shot
he's
of
distinct.
Olga's hairy armpits. You remember that?
Yeah, is he into that? I guess
I
he likes.
guess. I
Yeah,
mean, like maybe that's his thing. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, but if you think about it, it makes sense for her character. So I never minded the hairy
That is true.
armpits because I'm like,
I
okay,
just
well,
assumed it was a Kojima thing.
yeah, well, that's what I remember when it came out. Like all the articles at the time were like, "Oh, whoa, what's with Olga's hairy armpits?" And I'm like, "Well, she's in the Russian military.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. Mhm.
she's not exactly putting on makeup or anything. Like, yeah, she would have hairy armpits. That would make sense." Oh
That's also a
God.
really fun boss fight, by the way, because there's so many ways you could approach it. And like on
Hmm.
harder difficulties, you have to get even more creative with like getting rid of all the lights and stuff like that.
Did quite have hairy pits. Yes. And we're gonna leave it at that. Uh, yeah, but you would utilize the mechanics when you fought Olga on the tanker in the beginning because you would. One thing I learned real quickly when I played it is shoot out the spotlight because she blinds you with
Right.
that, and then yeah, you would go around the corners and shoot
And
her
then on the
because you try
harder
to.
difficulties, she'll like keep bringing lights back. So like keep finding
Oh,
new light sources that you have to keep like shooting or getting rid of. It's
where
really
does she
annoying.
find them? She just like drag them out or something.
I can't remember. I can't even remember. It's kind of
Yeah,
like the Rex battle. Like on the harder difficulties, you have to fight like even more. Like you have to
yeah,
fight like 15 of them. It's
yeah.
crazy.
And then someone says on extreme you can shoot it out.
Oh, I didn't even
Oh,
know that.
okay.
Yeah.
I read that the wrong way for a second. Because we were talking about Olga and Herod. Um Changing gears or arsenal gear. What was the moment when you played this game where you're like, this isn't a video game. This is something else.
Probably that long sequence at the end of the tanker where
Mm,
you like after you're done with the photographs of Ray and everything, just goes into that long scene where Otacon shows up and takes the Metal Gear for himself. Snake
hmm.
almost drowns. Like it's such a long sequence that you're like, wow, I'm playing a movie right here.
Yeah.
And like it was unlike because I didn't finish the first one at the time. So to me, this was like unlike anything I ever played before. And of course, like
Yeah.
everything you said too in that third act, like when the colonel starts going crazy, and like you can't trust Raiden's girlfriend on the other end. There's like
Yeah.
so much crazy stuff going on, or even
And
like the fish and mailed stuff. We didn't talk about that yet.
the what? The fish
Fish
and
and
nails?
fish and mailed.
Fishing. Oh,
Yeah,
when the
you start.
screen shrinks and
Yeah,
you're
and you keep
fighting
getting.
them?
Yeah, and you keep
Yeah.
getting those weird messages, but even though you're alive, that was also
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah. And they totally changed like the death screen like to something different too. Like when you switch
right.
this right in. Because like in the beginning of the yeah, fish and mailed. Exactly. That part and the worst part is like if you were playing that on a small TV, you wouldn't
Yeah,
know what to do or where to go, because they shrink the screen, it says fish and mailed, and then you get to that next part of the game where you have to fight like 20 Metal Gears. So already, like the game's like, oh, you thought Snake was a badass. Well, this dude can do cartwheels and dodge their missiles. And I have to say, I'm really glad that they brought Raiden back in Metal Gear Solid 4, because I thought he was an underappreciated character. And like we were saying, that was one of my favorite plot twists. It didn't feel like Luke throwing the lightsaber over his head and comedically cutting out the music. This felt like a plot device that was used where you're going, why the hell am I doing this? Well, now I got to play it until I play a Snake again, or I'm going to play it and see where the hell this takes me. And boy, like the thing is, people complain that this plot is convoluted and all that. I think he's multi-layered, and I think the more times you watch it, the more you get out of it, and each dot connects to the other. Although when it comes to the overall Metal Gear continuity, Kojima can mess it up a bit.
yeah, and I'm sure he has with the Phantom Pain, which I never finished.
Oh, I finished it, but it didn't feel finished. My Phantom Pain
Yeah.
was the missing elements because there's like missing shots and trailers. Like there are missing scenes where I'm like, where is that? There's like scenes where like there's kids inside of like the little prison camp from Ground Zeroes, and it's daytime, and they're getting beaten up, and they're being shown how to like use a gun, and like all the. Oh yeah, there's like another scene in one of the trailers where there's a bunch of corpses, and there's a vulture or a raven actually now. Like, oh, how did I never think of that before? But yeah, there's a raven there, and it's pecking at one of the bodies, and there's snakes surrounded by all these bodies, and he throws his hands up in the air. Like we didn't see any of that. Where was that? Because what was so disappointing with Phantom Pain, I know I'm kind of veering off track from two here, but what really annoyed me with Phantom Pain was the fact that it was not only half a story, but I thought that the story was going to be about how Big Boss becomes evil. He becomes like the guy who wants to rule the world. And it wasn't that. It was about how you're actually not Big Boss. And the real Big Boss, who's the actual bad guy, is somewhere else doing something. Fooled me again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I respected what Kojima was trying to say about the individuality of the player instead of the personification of the character. But what he did with 2, though, although it didn't make that point, it made much more points, which are we feel like we're part of the S3 program, and the game makes you like even question if you should be playing the game because you're fighting Solidus Snake in the end. And they tell Raiden, you have to kill Solidus. This is what we told you to do.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a weapon. And then they're like, well, if you don't, then Olga's child will die. Do you want that to happen?
And you
And
don't
he's
even
like,
sure or
I'm
not.
sorry.
Like you don't know
Yeah.
what to believe. Yeah.
And even when he says, I'm not a weapon, they're like, no, your name is derided from 2 weapons. So, yes, you are a weapon, Raiden. So yeah, well, but yeah, they did all that, and I love that because it makes you question as a player, like you're the puppet. It makes you the puppet in the game because you have the controller in your hand, and now all of a sudden the choices that are being made, you think it's your choices. When you play Grand Theft Auto, it's like, well, I get to choose to kill all these people. Yes, but if you want to progress through the
Right.
story,
You're not
you
going to
have
do
to
any of
play
it.
this
Yeah.
mission. Yeah.
Or you have to
Eh,
not have the cops chasing you all the time. Otherwise, you're
yeah.
not going to progress at all.
Yeah, same with I remember Nakey Jakey had this. It was a pretty good review, but I disagree with parts of it. And it was for I know his name's Nakey Jakey, but it was for Red Dead Redemption 2, and his argument was that the design was too rudimentary, and that one of his issues with it was that you can kill as many people as you want, but then you just pay off your bounty, and then you're good. And I'm like, well, yeah, they didn't make that huge cinematic game just so then you can't get anywhere because you killed too many people. The only game
Right.
that comes closest to those decisions, the only game that comes closest to you having freedom I can think of is Fallout, stuff like that.
Yeah. Anything about Bethesda is you usually get like a lot of different outcomes for the choices you make.
Yeah, yeah. And Metal Gear Solid 1, there was like 2 different stories. Metal Gear Solid 2 and beyond, Kojima didn't do that. He didn't get tacky and say, "Oh, you have multiple endings. Which
Right.
one do you want?" He's more like, "No, no, no. I did that with Metal Gear 1. Now, here's what I'm trying to tell you with this story."
Mhm.
And I think he had a lot of ideas in Metal Gear Solid 2. And it's weird. I never really got confused with it like other people did. Like, I just kind of accepted the fact I was going to miss some details because there's like 800 million plot twists in the game. And I was fine with replaying it and figuring out the little plot points that I missed. I
I
can't
think
say that
it's
for a lot of movies and games.
I think it might be easy to get confused, like maybe caught up in the writing of it all. But I think you always get the gist of what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The whole Patriots
Mhm.
thing, Illuminati, we got it,
Right.
And I think Well, my introduction to the
But then
Illuminati.
someone will say "Lolly Lule Lo."
Lolly
like, huh?
Lule Lo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just it sounds like Illuminati.
Right.
Phonemically, it's very similar. And
Mhm.
yeah, what he put in the Patriots, like a lot of people hated that at the time. They're like, "What is this? This makes no sense." And I'm like, "What?"
There's a scene after the credits too. You remember that?
Oh God! Oh yeah, and then they dismissed that in Metal Gear Solid 4 with like
Yeah,
one
that
throwaway
annoyed me.
line. Yeah,
Right, that bothered me.
yeah. I kind of didn't mind it because I was like, yeah, he wrote himself into a hole there, and he knew it, and he
Right.
had to get out of it. So he's like,
Well,
that
and
was bullshit.
you can say one of his greatest troll jobs was instead of following that up, he went back in time for Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah,
He made the people wait even longer just for that
yeah.
throwaway line.
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of a Luke's throwing the saber moment in a way because like after Force Awakens, audiences waited, with bated breath to see what happens when she gives him the lightsaber. It wasn't the fact that he just chucked it. It was the fact that they pushed the dolly in, they abruptly stopped the music. Then he throws a lightsaber. It's like a punchline. I'm like, I waited 3 years for a fucking punchline? Fuck you. Are you serious? Yeah, I still get mad thinking about that, but it's lazy. It's lazy.
I can picture you leaving the theater after that happened.
Actually, oh, well, thank you. Hugs and kisses to you too. It's cool, dude. No, what I have a video. I gotta find it, but my friend was telling me what my face looked like when I was watching the movie, and I looked like Gollum, like going crazy or something. I'll send you. But he said like he's never seen someone react that way to a movie. He said like I had a visceral, angry reaction, and I think it's very lazy on Ryan Johnson's part because like I like the ideas he was trying to say. But but the way he said it was very sneering and condescending, and I didn't appreciate it.
I think the only time I've seen you angry after a movie was Gladiator 2, and that was pretty funny.
Oh, really? Well, I don't even remember that movie. I just
we both thought it sucked.
Yeah. I was just mad that it existed.
Yeah. That's what I remember too.
What did I say after that movie?
I don't remember what you said. You were just like, you really thought it sucked after we saw it. That's all I remember.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Yeah. I mean, it's not. You know what? That draws a direct comparison from Gladiator 2 to this movie. Gladiator 1. What was one of the best parts of that movie? The soundtrack. Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Great soundtrack here too.
Yep. What? Oh yeah.
I said there's a great soundtrack here too.
Yeah. And here's the irony with it. Gladiator 2. Do you know who did the music to it? The guy who did the music
Harry
to Metal
Gregson
Gear.
Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. And the soundtrack to Gladiator 2 is completely forgettable noise. And
most of the movies he does music for, it's always kind of forgettable, it feels like. But with Metal Gear, he's always like locked in and it's memorable.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was the point I was getting to is that all his work isn't that great, but the stuff he's most remembered for is for a video game.
Right. Yeah.
And he's kind of like the opposite of Michael Cimino. Or Cimino? No, Michael Cimino's a deer hunter guy.
Do you mean Michael Giacchino?
Yeah. Michael Giacchino is how you say his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I learned that from a podcast.
I know him as the Pixar guy.
Yeah. Well, before Pixar, Michael Giacchino
composed
a little game series. Even before that, he composed a little game series called Medal of Honor. And this, if you like Call of Duty, think Medal of Honor. That came before Call of Duty, and the soundtracks to those games, I think, is still his best work. And then eventually, Giacchino, he became Mr. Pixar. He won the Oscar for Up. He composed Fantastic Four and Rogue One and many, 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 many other movies. The Batman. But he started in video games. Harry Gregson Williams started in film, and then he went to video games. and the work he did, just like Giacchino, is his best work was in that medium. Although I will say that Giacchino has an Oscar for a reason, and Gregson Williams is a rent-a composer.
Yeah.
And most of his music in Metal Gear, it's just like him screwing around on a synthesizer.
I
but
think
then
it
there's
also
those.
I was gonna say, I think it also goes to show that like working with Kojima, that's like a real strong collaboration where like maybe he's working with you directly and bringing out the best in you.
Good directors do that.
Yeah.
There's a reason John Williams conducted so many classics. Although, well, no, that was all John Williams, I think. But there are reasons why there are so many memorable scores, and it's because and performances and cinematography, and it's what you communicate to everybody. And it's not just like how well you communicate it, but just the ideas that that will work, that other minds don't know. And that is Kojima's mind. Like, there's a great interview with Norman Reedus on Death Stranding, and Kojima, he'll tell you, okay, now pick up the baby and cry. Well, why am I crying? Because of the strand and the time and I don't know what any of that means, but I trust you. And hey, look a whale, look up a whale. Like, why? What? But then you see the end product, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. And of course, Metal Gear was great because you had David Hayter in the games, who was a screenwriter himself. He wrote X-Men 1 and 2, and he wrote Watchmen. So I don't know if he had any input on the script, but as a screenwriter who could read good scripts and write good scripts, I think that helped him really personify Snake in a way that's become ubiquitous with contemporary culture and with culture in general. I mean, there's a reason people remember David Hayter and not Kiefer Sutherland when it comes to Snake.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to forget Kiefer Sutherland took over the role.
I mean, he just sounded bored, and
he's not a good fit for it. Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland is not the best actor. Like, he's good.
It's like when you get animated movies and like you get all these celebrities taking over, and it's just not the same.
I hate that. I hate it when they do that. That's what I like about the voice acting in these Metal Gear games is it's over the top, but it fits the material and the time. Because if you tried to do the kind of performances you do, and like if you try to do Solidus's performance today, which by the way, I think his name is John Saigan who voices him.
Yes,
he passed away this year. So
that sucks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I think maybe a month ago or longer or less, I don't know, but it was this year. But yeah, like you couldn't have John Saigan's performance in a modern game, where he's like, how many places have we gone to? The best transplant surgery team in the world.
It's very theatrical and like
very theatrical performances that wouldn't really work with like something like Death Stranding. But Metal Gear was like something made by a fan who was also sort of original themselves. Like Kojima loves, old Japanese cinema. He loves action movies. He really likes Western culture. And
he clearly likes Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Plissken?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Michelle was pointing it out when we were talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 is that Kojima, you had this Japanese man's perspective on America.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. And basically, like the first one, he was a little critical. And in the second one, he just straight up told us you're all fucking crazy. You have a secret government that's running everything. And because you guys lead the world in ingenuity, your ingenuity with AI will lead us to our own demise. And of course he made a video game criticizing America about nuclear weapons because, well, they nuked his home. So I think he has reasons to be upset. And that was something that he wanted to explore in his games. And he did that brilliantly through a medium where through games where you kill people, yet the game always kind of shames you for doing it, which is why they gave you the train gun. But he couldn't do all that stuff in a movie. It wouldn't work as well. as it does in the
Speaking
game.
of shaming the player for killing, you remember in Metal Gear Solid 3 when you get to the Sorrow boss battle? After you
Yeah,
like killed everyone, you have to like crawl through that sea of dead bodies just to get to the end.
yeah, and if you bump into them, like it keeps
Yeah.
flashing.
Yep.
Who, I gotta look it up, but the Sorrow looks exactly like I cannot get it out of my head. Whenever I see the Sorrow's face, he looks exactly like this old comedian that I know. But anyways, I'll go on forever trying to figure out who it is, and I know in my brain now, because I don't know anything he's in. I can't name a stand-up special of his. I can't name a movie he's in. I just know his face. But yeah, now I'm just thinking of Watchmen. Who give me back my face? Uh, although, yeah, the thing is, this game really tackles a lot of mature themes. For instance, you have childhood soldiers,
Mhm.
and you know you have death and not being able to trust anyone. Something's weird in that game from the beginning when Solid Snake is being labeled as the terrorist leader and your girlfriend is working with you on this mission against although you didn't even know she was working in that office or whatever.
And by the way, since I never finished the first game, I was like into that plot thread, like, well, maybe Solid Snake is the villain in this one. Like, I
Oh,
wasn't sure, so like it worked on me.
you didn't know that Solid Snake was
Well,
Solid Snake in the tanker mission?
I thought maybe he could become a villain. I wasn't
Ah.
sure where they were going with it at the time.
Or he could have been a perfect clone and we don't know it. We could have
Yeah,
always.
that too.
Now, that's a twist Kojima could do that would be stupid. Is if he decided, hey, Solid Snake, he actually died in Metal Gear 2, the MSX game. And throughout all the other games, you were a clone. But
Also, you talked about all the mature themes. There's a lot of ridiculous stuff in here too. That's fun. You got
yeah.
like a vampire. You got a fat guy on roller skates that like setting up bombs everywhere.
And
You've got
drinking
like
martinis. Yeah.
you've got like a psychic that can't die, which is also cool. Like that whole
Oh,
Dead
yeah.
Cell group is awesome.
Yeah, and the thing he also does, like in the second game, that's very different than the first game, which I had a problem with it when I played it originally, but now looking back, I respect it. Is like when you killed every boss in the first game, they had like their big weepy, oh, this is why I wound up a bad guy scene, and the second game they don't do that at all. But then they change your perspective on who those characters are and what their intentions were towards that third act, because I like this game is kind of structured like a Stanley Kubrick film. You have your beginning and then boom, big moment, and then it's just like 80% setup and then 20% the rest of the story. Except his movies are a lot more subtle and they don't have people pooping and
I
crazy
think
stuff
the
like that.
I think the closest you get to like a backstory for a villain is like Fat Man like being the mentor of the police, the bomb squad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and Solidus is just another clone, and we know how those clones what they think about their dad. Oh yeah, they never actually go into what Solidus thought about his dad. I think he came in later. I don't know. They never really got into why he's just because at least with like us with Liquid, yeah, he's evil, but you can understand why he's evil because he knew he was a piece of garbage just the day he was born. But Solidus, now I found a flaw in the game. Solidus, you never get that. He's just kind of bad guy. Bad guy who wanted to be part of the Patriots. He didn't get in the club. Now he's salty about it. So now he's going to destroy the Patriots.
There's a really good performance for Solidus, but overall, I thought he was like the weakest link in the game, and like the one aspect I never remember much about, other than
Yeah.
the final boss fight, where like the dueling swords. That's a cool boss fight
Yeah.
on top of Federal Hall.
Yeah. Okay, that's one of the biggest plot holes ever. How did a bunch of American citizens not notice a gigantic
Right.
boat crash in the middle of Federal Hall while the former president of the United States is in a robot octopus suit while holding onto a statue and bleeding to his death while there's just some other guy up there with a sword? Oh yeah, and then he just walks around the streets. The cops don't arrest him. The cops, but then again, maybe that was the Patriots controlling all
Yeah,
that.
maybe they had that Men in Black technology, just wipe all their minds clean.
They could have. They could, the AI could have just,
Mm-hmm.
sent a piece of code, and everyone's like, "Whoa,
Yep.
Lord, I don't know who that is," But yeah, I don't know, that was out of left field. I have a problem with that game's ending. Like, it tries to say that you're your own person and you can forge your own life, but then you basically told me that although I am my own person and I forge my own life, I'm only doing what other people tell me to do, and you're telling me what to do right now. So it's conflicting its own message.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but it can't be perfect. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of my favorite video games of all time. I think 1 is my favorite, although 2, I don't know, man. 2 is my favorite now because of how multi-layered it is and how prophetic it was. I, I mean, the fact that we all now basically everything is digital code everywhere. And when I remember at the time, my first girlfriend, she walked in my room when I was at the codec conversation in Metal Gear Solid 2. This was like my second playthrough of it. She didn't like video games, and she was like, "This game has a really good story."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that, yeah, exactly. Like, this is a game that goes beyond the barrier of if you like video games or not. It's like if you like good stories, this is like watching a couple seasons of a show.
It transcended the medium for the time.
Yeah, it really did. Because all of a sudden you didn't know if you were playing a game or not. It was making you question the fabric upon which society is built. These are heavy topics. And
Mm-hmm.
yet it's also cut to, you getting pissed in the face by people who have to go to the bathroom and just a bunch of goofy stuff. Oh yeah, like porno posters. But yet because of the length of a game and the, I guess, illusion of choice, although there is some choice in it, um, it it's more effective. At the time, people said, "Oh, it's more effective than the movie." I'm like, I think this is like a classic movie. This is just as good as a lot of those, if not better, because it's a game, because you can write more pages, because it's 20 hours. You can put more in, and you can play with the tone a little more too.
It's also got another really good ending credit song. I know you said the song from the first game like really made you want to
I
play it, and this one,
stare at
yeah,
the
yep,
sun and the stars up above. Yeah, and it was very different too, because I
mm-hmm.
remember I had a problem with that at first game. I'm like, this isn't pretty, and
Mm-hmm.
like this is like the best of yet to come. That came from the soul. That felt deep. This one is like some jazz lounge song. What
Mm-hmm.
is this? But it worked. But it was like cut to, and you think about it. I'm thinking about this now. It's like it's cut to shots of New York City,
Yes, mm-hmm.
and how New York is this wonderful place to live. And I think this is Kojima like saying, "Hey, I know I just trashed your government for like 18 hours, but you know what? You guys been through a lot with 9/11 because 9/11 happened during the making of this game, and they had to make some changes to the game because of 9/11. It's in my notes what the changes were actually, but because of that, Kojima showed how the world loves New York and how they're united behind him. So he kind of gave it this like American jazz feel while also paying homage to a city that's that had been devastated, and
What were some
and
of the
also his
changes
love
they
for
made?
America.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. It is significant changes to the game's ending were made in late development
Yeah, that
following
makes
the
sense.
September
Mm-hmm.
11th attacks in New York, where the finale occurs. A sequence depicting Arsenal Gear's displacement of the Statue of Liberty and crashing through half of Manhattan was removed. As was a short code. That would make sense because how did the boat get there? Uh, as was a short coda to appear after the credits, a breaking newscast showing the Statue of Liberty's new resting place, Ellis Island. Okay, it was always there. But other deleted scenes include Solidus shredding New York Stock Exchange flag with his sword. Oh my god, I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been so awesome. Like just him killing a bunch of Wall Street guys. All right.
Now I want to see Solid Snake in the Wolf of Wall Street, or just like killing everyone in the Wolf of Wall Street.
Does he like hide all of his money in cardboard boxes?
Or can you imagine him calling someone like just saying like "Hello, Snake" or something? Like just
pick up the codec and start dialing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in the stock exchange. He was shredding people, and then Arsenal Gear during the he was shredding people during the crash of Arsenal Gear. Damn. And the fall of his flag. And then the American flag falls over his body, and there's supposed to be flag poles in New York that were removed from the title. Okay. Wow. That's pretty crazy, huh? I think he inserted that ending with that song after 9/11, maybe, because those were live action scenes, and that was, that might have been a last minute decision song. It wasn't designed in the game itself.
Yeah. It also sounds like part of the reason that ending is a bit more optimistic than you would have liked it to be.
Yeah, maybe because he realized after something so horrific, the world needed some optimism.
Right.
And after he told everyone that everything sucks, and hey, in 20 years, oh shit, we're here now. But yeah, this movie, I love it. It's one of my favorites. I'm glad that we're film critics. We talk about movies, but we're both gamers, and we both love Metal Gear, and we both love this game. If you were to rate Metal Gear Solid out of 4 Guinnesses, what would you give it? Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, out of 4 Guinnesses, what would you give it?
I would give it 4 completely. Yeah. Like it's one of the best games of all time.
Absolutely. I give it 4 as well. That is certainly one of the best games of all time. Gameplay wise, maybe not one of the best, but it's still pretty fun.
I think it still holds up in its own like clunky way. There's lots of weird, quirky, fun things you can do.
Yeah, people
like just dragging people around and shoving them in lockers.
There's so many options. Though the best is like, I love how Raiden's like, I'm not a killer. And the first thing I did was I tranked a dude. He falls asleep. And I just like took his body while he was asleep and just tossed it in the lake. So that's
one of my favorite like dumb parts is on the tanker when you're like sneaking around. And there's that guard who's like listening to his headphones. It's like rocking out. You just shoot him.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. And make sure you don't have your USP equipped, because if you do, it has a flashlight and it'll see it.
Right.
Yeah. And it'll catch you. I did that last time. I was like, oops. And then I had to kill everyone. The Patriots maybe.
Also, if you had to choose a favorite boss fight in this one, which one would it be? Because this one has a lot of boss fights. Okay, that's a good choice.
Wait. Actually, it's a tie between Solidus and the 20 Metal Gears.
I was gonna say Solidus, so I'll go with the 20 Metal Gears because that's also fun. It's like doing cartwheels and then firing rockets.
Yeah, like I like the idea of 20 Metal Gears because they make a big deal out of you fighting Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid 1, and they're like, okay, you are not Solid Snake, you are Jack the Ripper. Now go and rip 20 of these, and then of course, but then the Solidus fight is incredible because Raiden does not want to kill him because he wants a decision not to, but they're like, well, too bad, you have to. And the game made you question, like, no, I don't, Kojima. And Kojima's like, yes, you do. I wrote it. So, it was a head screw.
I also really like the vamp fight. You're like shooting stinger missiles at him. He's like,
don't use the auto target.
Yeah.
Oh, you can shoot stingers at him? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can go in first person and shoot them, I think.
But then wouldn't he be able to dodge the targeting? Like, I don't know, but because he would read your targeting ahead of time. Maybe you could, though.
I think it's the only thing he can't dodge.
See, that right there is why I love Metal Gear Solid 2. How many years ago I played this? 2001? It's 2026, and now I'm learning new things still.
Yeah, I know if you use guns against them, it takes a long time. That's why I always use, like, the stinger missiles.
Oh shit! See, what I would do is I would use the gun and I wouldn't press L1.
Actually, I remember what it is now. There's something you have to do to like make him like vulnerable to not dodge it. Now I can't remember what it is though.
Shoot the lights?
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
But
can't
there is a way
remember.
to like kill them fast with Stinger missiles.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Well, this is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for doing this, Rob.
You're
We
welcome.
will be eventually back with Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, a game that everyone loves, and I love it too, but
And
mostly just for the gameplay.
that one has a James Bond type song in it.
Yes, it does. Oh, Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm going to lose a lot of fans when they find out that I thought
Okay.
the story was kind of boring. Like after Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm like, oh, here's your fan service. Cool. But anyways, yeah.
Prequels are always like, it's always tough to follow something up with a prequel.
Yeah, and just the marketing behind it too is like,
Hmm.
okay, they had the trailer where they like kick Raiden out of the chair and replace him with Snake, and it felt like Kojima was capitulating, but then again, that was more
Or
like
trolling you
four.
again.
Yeah, it could have not been Snake. Snake could have taken the mask off and it could have been Raiden. Although you could play as a scientist dressed like Raiden, and there's like a million homophobic jokes targeted at him. So, yeah, Kojima knows the gamers. All right. Anyways, Rob, thanks so much for doing this. If you liked what you saw or listened to, go to ypareviews.com. And if you like Rob Kojder stuff, go to flickeringmyth.com. Right? Is that it? Right?
Yes,
All right.
that's correct.
Oh, thank God. All right. And his info is below. I copy and paste it.
Hmm.
So hope you guys have a good time and have a happy 4th of July. The Patriots are watching us. Don't go to any Patriots Epstein parties. Although, how can you? They're all robots. All right. Well, not even robots. They're just in the cloud. Are we even here? I don't know.